a video explaining how to do an assignment that explains something? Very meta, huh? The second of our major assignments is the instructions. If you haven't already looked at the instructions section of the major assignment sheet, you really should look at it and get a good overview of what's going on before you start this video. The instructions is walking your reader through a task step by step. You will write it as if it's written towards professionals in the field who don't have your exact level of knowledge. You should include graphics. You should make it look as good as possible. Here's everything you need to know about it. So let's talk about the instructions then. If I had you in an actual classroom, there's an exercise we'd do. But I think we can do a version of it here. One thing you've all probably done a million times is tie your shoes. So what I'm going to ask you to do, a little bit of a brain teaser. I want you to pause this video. Then I want you to try to write instructions for how to tie your shoes. Here's the level of difficulty. Number 1, you cannot use phrases like the bunny goes over the mountain. You cannot use metaphors. Number 2, you cannot use pictures. Number 3, you cannot look at your shoes or anyone else's shoes. So pause the video for about 5 seconds. Yeah, it's probably going to take more than 5 seconds, isn't it? Pause the video for a few minutes and see if you can write that kind of set of instructions. I'll be here. So did you really pause it? Did you really try? If you did, you know it was frustrating as living hell. There's a few reasons for this. Tying our shoes is one of those things that we do so often we tend not to think about it. The only way you might be doing really good at this assignment is if you have just finished trying to teach a kid how to tie shoes. Then you find yourself having to talk about it and think about it. But otherwise, it's just not something we keep in the active part of our mind. It's a subconscious act for us. And then there's the added difficulty of the user. What I mean by this is when you write instructions, you can't write instructions assuming that somebody already knows how to do the task. You have to use what I like to call the intelligent space alien. You know, it's kind of a shame, as of the recording of this video, that we don't have proof of intelligent life out there, or on Earth for that matter. Anyway, because the space alien is the perfect audience for a set of instructions. We have to assume that our reader is relatively intelligent and can put basic facts together. But we also cannot assume that they have any knowledge of what we're talking about. You don't write instructions for people who already know the task. You write instructions for people who have no knowledge whatsoever. But you don't treat them like babies. You treat them as if they're functioning adults. Keep the space alien in mind as you do a set of instructions. Now, of course, for shoes, it's going to be a lot easier if you can use pictures. When I said no pictures, it's because I know you could do it like this. It's similar enough. When you have to rely on your words, you've got to get a lot more precise about your terminology. You know what those little things on the edge, on the end of your strings are called? Aglets. A-G-L-E-T. Did you use that terminology in your written instructions? If you didn't, how is the person going to know what to grasp? Labeling parts is a good thing. And you know, if I was to get really nitpicky about it, there's a fault here in that we're assuming there's one way to tie a set of shoes. You would be shocked at the ridiculous numbers of ways of tying shoes there are. This is just a tiny sample. I've never seen most of these, and I frankly don't know who would have the time in the day to do a checkerboard pattern. but they are out there.
So that's the instructions assignment. One of the things I think you should probably do is look at it whenever we have one of these assignments. It's a good idea to familiarize yourself with how real world documents look. We're always trying to do real world documents in here. So I would highly recommend that you go and do search for instructions. Look to see what's out there. Look to see the kind of conventions. I could talk about what a good set of instructions looks like until I'm blue in the face, but it's no substitute for just looking at a bunch of them. And with an image search, it's easy enough. Let me know if you have any questions on the instructions as you work. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, people. Bye.